live for the Brewery Underground podcast.
In Nashville's harbor wise, craft and brews will meet the skies. Stephen Scott, they lead the way. Brewery Underground, night and day. Raise your glass, let's ignite. In this city, we unite. Raise your glass, let's ignite.
Hey, Stephen Scott, we are back in Nashville, Tennessee on the Brewery Underground podcast. And Scott, man, we're excited as we always are because today we are going to Cincinnati. We are talking to Garrett Hickey. He is the owner and head brewer at Streetside Brewing in the Cincinnati, Ohio area, my hometown. Garrett, man, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thanks for this. Was a quick turnaround too. I think we reached out to. We got this booked in like a week or two or something, which was pretty great turnaround. So thanks for being interested.
Yeah, this is it's always this is right before fest season, so this is a good time to get something in. Not that we're going down to festivals or out to festivals on a Wednesday, but it is one of those things where once it gets into the summer, the timing starts to get a little iffy.
Yeah. You know, the weather's turning, right? As everything's getting nice, everybody's outside, and you guys are probably already planning some stuff for the fall, I would imagine too. Not just events necessarily, but your beers. You got to look that far out, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, we're just talking about our fest beer yesterday, deciding how much we wanted to make and like what our lager plan was for basically after the fest beer, like how we want to run the rest of the year, because we know we're going to make the fest beer and how we'll run like the last three lagers of the year. Like if we're going to do fest beer, nothing, and then like like a darker lager that we always release like January or December, January, or if we were going to run just like try to get three out around that time. And because we have a couple lagers that we haven't done in a minute, and we've been trying to run them back, but it's busy, and you know how it goes, trying to get the beers that pay the bills out there. So,
well, speaking of beer, we have to thank you because you sent us some really great beer, and Scott and I are going to talk about one we just had at his house last night. But you brought us and you sent us the Spring Breaker, which I am actually drinking right now.
Nice.
And ironically, this is one that you did a collab with New Groove.
Yes.
And we just had them on our podcast not long ago. You have a good connection with them.
That was unintentional, but I'm glad it worked out that way.
Yeah, that was perfect. Those guys were great. We brought you up in the conversation too, so we might get a little bit into that a little bit more during this episode, but it was cool. We kind of brought you into that. So very nice. I've got the one, and Steve and I met up last night, and he shared what he had that you had sent. It's the our New England that we're brewing the 88th batch of over the last 10 years next week. Holy shit, really?
Yeah, it is like it's a full 10th of our production over the last 10 years.
Does the recipe change? Or has it changed over those years, or does the beer just vary a little bit, even though the recipe might be the same?
The only thing that's really changed is the base malt. So the base malt has progressed to a lighter base as people's visual palette has changed. Back when we opened, everyone really wanted that like orange juice looking New England, and now you're kind of getting more towards that pale. Yep, there you go. The straw pale looking beer. I think it's still a little bit probably darker than your average, but we're trying to keep it somewhat true to the original recipe. Other than the base malt, though, it is 100% everything's still the same.
So if I could read a quick description of it, it says flavor leads with soft mango and pineapple, peach in light darkness, and then is rounded out by soft, fluffy, almost creamy body.
Yeah, That description is like 9.5 years old, so it could probably use some updating. But
well, I'll tell you, I haven't tried it yet, but it's all those things visually.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely gotten more like as we've brewed more and more of it, we've kind of learned. I mean, we have learned a lot through. This has been like a big year of secondary learning, I guess, tertiary learning for me, where I started listening to a lot more podcasts. I had gone through a long time of just kind of not delving into the craft as much as I had, just being busy and not kind of just, I mean, just being in the muck of every year in and year out. You kind of go through phases where you're learning, and then you kind of like let everybody else kind of do the legwork on research. And then right now I'm ramping back up. So I've made some tweaks procedurally to that beer and to all of our New Englands that I think has really helped.
Well, I know you said
it's
that you
delicious.
were brewing today. Yeah. You said that you were brewing today. Did you bring anything that you're drinking on the podcast?
I went to my parents' house and helped them re-season their Blackstone, and then I came home and did some gardening. So I am drinking water right now. Yeah, it's been busy. So it was busy day brewing, and we had tanks to clean and some barrel age projects that we were working on. And then I had busy personal stuff. So it is definitely, I'm ramping down right now.
well, thanks for fitting us in. Truly.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we'll take it easy on you. The other beer before Scott and I get to the one that we've already had, I also have with me the Coconut Beachside.
Yep.
Would you like to talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, sure. That is a collab with a local restaurant, better beer restaurant, Hop and Vines, as you could see on the back of the can. We originally brewed it in 2020, I think. So like right in the midst of COVID it is, or 2021. I can't remember it was, but it was definitely like right there. Everything was kind of shut down. It was the original version is a key lime pie milkshake IPA. For their anniversary this year, we did a variant, a big batch of a variant. So we did coconut key lime pie. We'd done a small keg only batch of that last year. They enjoyed it. They asked us to scale it up to production size. So that's what we did. Key lime, bunch of vanilla, probably, I think it's like 7,500 pounds of coconut between toasted coconut and just like raw, normal coconut that you would get out of like whatever you see at a store. I believe we put a little coconut cream in there as well. We didn't put a whole ton of it in there because of we wanted the head retention to remain, but we really wanted to push that coconut to the forefront on that beer because key lime is a very strong flavor, and it's hard to overcome it when you're trying to like match it with something else. So you got to really push the limits on the other ingredient that you're adding with it.
I know Steve was excited about that can because when he got the cans, he was like, "Do you mind if I keep this one?" Because he was really looking forward to drinking that beer.
Yeah, that's we used to make a lot more milkshakes, so that's I don't know if we would call it like our specialty, but it was like something that we did a ton of, and we've done, as sales have gone down on milkshake IPAs in general, we've definitely done less and less, but we'll do like 3 to 4 a year, and that's one we almost always do for the spring because that's their Hop and Vine's anniversary is in April, so we almost always have it for the start of spring, middle of spring, beginning of summer.
Because those types of beers and those sales of those beers have gone down, are you still kind of expected? I know you say you make 3 or 4 a year, but are you still kind of expected as Streetside to still make those? Certain people like, hey, you kind of overdue for one, and we're looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, I think like if we weren't brewing like specific, like John Lemon is our December milkshake. It's always a lemon meringue milkshake IPA. I feel like if we didn't do that one, there would definitely be some comments for sure. Like when we've retired popular beers, we do hear about it. I think we had a guy come in last week to do a barrel pick. He won in an auction, and he told me like his daughter, her favorite beer was one of the milkshakes that we don't make anymore. I said, well, maybe now that I hear somebody talking about, maybe it'll go back on the list. We used to make a ton of it, and now I don't even know. It's probably been 3 years since we made it last. So I don't know. Sometimes if you talk about it enough, or if I see it online or whatever, there's always a chance that it'll get in my head, and I'll throw it on the brewer list just because whatever. I feel like it's something that we haven't done in a minute, and we have improved brewing processes that we could probably make it better. So,
Well, Scott and I, being brewery guys, we just love to try anything. So, if you walk in, we haven't had it, we're likely gonna try it. But
yeah, for sure.
there is one more beer, and when you sent that beer to my house on Saturday, Scott was out of town. He was in Asheville on a beer trip.
Nice.
And so I went over to his house last night, and I brought this beer over, and we did a beer share on his porch. And we made a video, and we'll put that out soon. But Scott, would you like to talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, too. First of all, the plan was to drink and share 2 of those beers last night, and we started with this one. He was like, "I got to drive. We're not going to do 2. We're going to do just the one."
Yeah, we live about a half hour from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the beer is Decadence, Speak of the Devil, and it's 14.5%, and it's an imperial double stout, and it was freaking amazing. Let me give a quick description if I can. Toasted coconut, cashew, almonds, bee pollen, Indonesian West Papua vanilla beans, and it was aged in apple brandy maple syrup barrels for 2 years. Incredible.
Yes.
And it was all of those things, including 14.5%.
Yeah, that was I think that's probably the most popular, maybe second most popular of our Speak of the Devil releases this year. We had a couple single cans left over, so I got it down to you guys. That is actually another New Groove beer. They did it. I don't remember what beer they did it, but I saw it when they were doing their release. I think it was for their Black Friday event this past year. And I was like, well, that sounds pretty good. I'm going to steal the idea. So I think even says it on the description where I said it's inspired by those guys.
Yep.
So you guys got 2 beers that either were brewed with or inspired by New Groove. But yeah, that
absolutely, yes.
I mean, they do a ton of barrel aged stuff, a ton of great barrel aged stuff. If you have the opportunity to borrow from a friend, it's always a good idea if you can. But yeah, we that's one of those ones, like, normally if I'm looking for new ideas, I'll pop on Untappd and I'll scroll through, see what like go through the top rated stouts on that top rated list, just go through and scroll down and see what other people have done that's done well. And that's kind of some of the beers that we do are inspired by that. Some of it is beers that we've done, obviously, in the past that we're bringing back, or variants of different stouts that we want to do with the new stout, new base. Some of it is just like straight up, just steal it from somebody else.
I do feel like when you and New Groove get together, it's like these 2 great minds come together that do really well at both of what you guys do. You do it very well, and you come together and do it even better together. It's so cool.
Yeah. We've done some good stuff with those guys, and I'm very appreciative of the help that they've given us, and the invite to Woodstock this past year and all that. So
back on that beer real quick we had last night, we poured it, and Steve goes, "What's the first thing you get?" I go, "It's the maple syrup." You got the syrup right on the nose, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
And you tasted it all the way through too.
Yeah, so those barrels, we do a VIP event before all of our stout releases. And those barrels have been tasted a couple times by the people at the VIP event, and they're always super popular. It's just like everyone's like, when are you going to release that? When are you going to release that? When are you going to release that? So this was the year that we released all the Speak of the Devils. We still have a couple of those barrels just tucked away, with just like barrels that we're using for blenders. They'll probably never see the light of day as like the brand that's written on the barrels. They'll probably get blended into either Demogorgon or Speak of the Devil, or I know we're releasing one of those barrels in a blend that we're releasing for July 4th. So we have a couple left they'll get blended in the next couple releases. So you'll still get some of the benefit of those barrels, which are great in future releases.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to say is I can't speak for Scott, but I can speak for myself that that is my number one rated beer so far this year on
Hell
Untappd.
yeah.
We said last night that we just did a kind of mid-review thing, best beers so far, and then we do a year-end, best beers of the year. And we both said that is going to end up on the list somewhere very high on the list, that beer for both of us.
That's yeah, it was, like I said, it was super popular. I think we still have it on draft, but we are the Speak of the Devil this year is way more limited than it has been in the past. So I would expect almost all of the Speak of the Devil that we have here to be gone here shortly. Like, I know we still have a couple cans of the less popular variants, but then the draft should all be gone. Next year it'll just be all new stuff on tap next, like when we do our next release.
I know you've been brewing for a while and you've been at it for a while, but and when you have a beer like this and you feel like you've nailed it as it's going out, is there some high-fiving going on with you and some of the other people there that, some of the other employees, like, "We have freaking nailed this one, and we cannot wait to get it out"?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's honestly, it's a little bit, it's not stressful, but it is like, if we wanted to put this into a competition, it's actually it's causes a little consternation on our end, because like FOBAB is until later this year, and it's not like we want to hold on to this specific variant for however many months, you know what I mean? I think we're going to end up redoing same variant with everything with Demogorgon that would release on Halloween this year. So like, it is nice because we know we're going to do one variant that we're going to do this year out of however many barrels. Like last year, I think we did 8 or 9 variants. So it is nice. It's nice to have like something that we know that we can fall back on if we want to make a beer that people really like. But yeah, I mean, like, for the most part, most of the guys, we were more excited about the Nocino barrel that we had, that was like a Ohio distiller, their black walnut liqueur. We were pretty excited about that one because that
Nice.
was just straight barrel. Definitely not like the most beloved on Untappd, but it is. Sometimes you just got to do one for you. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep. And I bet you still had some people out there that really appreciated that too, with Untappd or not.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially those styles aren't for everyone. And, we've talked about this all the time. Somebody might check it in, not like the style and not really appreciate that beer for what it is.
Yeah, it's like, because it's such a big, thick stout without any adjuncts in it, you're getting a ton of stout and you're getting a ton of barrel, especially when they age for 2 years. So you really have to be like, if you don't love that barrel or you don't love the base, it's really tough, I'm sure, to check it in. That's not my thing, but I understand that like that's a big thing for most consumers is their check-ins. So
I can appreciate you guys and New Groove still doing that. There's a lot of, we're kind of getting away from that. People are going to beer flavored beer, and you guys do some of that too. We'll talk about it, but you guys are still keeping that alive, and you're doing a really good job of that too.
Yeah, I mean, the market in Cincinnati is still like, we have our beer flavored beers, but the market's still there for sweet stouts. I mean, hazy IPAs, I think, have almost become like, that is beer flavored beer at this point. But West Coast IPAs West Coast Pils, obviously, like what you got, West Coast IPAs are making a comeback. It's probably like, if you look at our brewing schedule, it's probably like, I typically order in like 6 beers at a time. When I'm ordering, it's like 2 IPAs or 2 New Englands, 1 West Coast, or something like more perceived bitterness, a fruited sour, and then like probably something for like the OG beer fans, whether it's like an amber, which is, we do an ESB and just call it an amber. It's easier to describe it that way.
Sure.
Or
sells more.
Yeah, it definitely sells more than saying an ESB or doing like our mild or brown ale or anything like that. We're trying to do that's like the last one, just to make sure that we have something on that appeals to everybody.
Yeah, I was sitting there last night as we were drinking the Decadence, and I said to Scott, I said, and we've been to a lot of breweries in Cincinnati. I think it's one of the things that really makes you all stand out because you're not probably going to walk into a lot of breweries in Cincinnati and see something that's 14.5% on the board.
There's just not as many breweries doing super high stouts. I mean, it's just super high ABV stouts. I think it's less of a need for them, whereas like our market and our crowd is still like looking specifically for that kind of beer. Like you're not going to Mad Tree and getting a 14% beer. Their crowd is definitely more looking for that drinkable, like everyday beer. Whereas like we have our releases, we have our Tavor buy stuff. We've got our festivals. We do have to have that stock of like higher end beer isn't the way to say it, but like the premium product that is like that you would sell for $22 a 2-pack or whatever we're selling the beers for nowadays. I think that's one of those things where like there's some breweries that do it, some breweries that don't. It doesn't like one way or the other. It doesn't really matter. Like as long as you're making money and selling beer, it's all good.
Yeah, that's a lot of it, I would think. Let's go back. You were talking a little bit before about Untappd.
Mm.
How much do you use Untappd as a resource?
Probably more than I should. I look at it. If we release a new beer, I like to check it to see like what people are saying about it. If we release like a brown ale, which we're never gonna do, we've got one brown ale, and that's the only brown ale that we're gonna do because it doesn't make sense to have multiple brown ales. Like I don't care. I don't care what people check it as because it's not a style that's gonna rank highly. It is. I'll check to see like what people do on stouts. I'll check to see what people are rating for New England's, and then other than that, it is what it is for the most part. I am curious every time we do a West Coast Pils, just because it's a newer style and I want to see how people are receiving it. But for the most part, I'm really only in there on the like hype beers. You know what I mean? I want to see what people are saying about the beers that I perceive like I think that people should be hyped about, and see if they agree with me. So like we just released a double New England IPA on Tuesday. Curious to see how it does on Untappd. I haven't checked it. We weren't super busy last night, so wait, was last night Tuesday? Yes, we did on Monday. We released it on Monday, so it's been on sale for almost 2 days now. So it'll be interesting to see like how that goes throughout the weekend. We're releasing another New England on Friday, so those two I'll check up on throughout the weekend, see how they go. I'm hoping the double does well. It's in that 10-year series that we did with New Groove. We've done with, I mean, we're halfway through, so we've done a bunch. We did Mad Tree at the very beginning. We did Voodoo at the very beginning. This month, we are brewing with Dorothy Lane Market, which is a grocery store in Dayton and Mason, doing a Galaxy Dry Hop Saison with honey. So that'll be our June release. But it's always that one I care a little bit more about because we're putting it behind it, the 10-year collab series. So I'm always a little bit more on top of those as well, even if they are like boring styles or whatever.
So obviously the better when it comes to Untappd ratings, but what's like satisfactory for you of what you're looking at?
4. Anything, well, 3.9 is probably like the lowest I like to see. I mean, it also depends on the style, you know what I mean? Our lagers are never going to hit. If we got a 3.8 on a lager, like it's killer. Like might be like the best beer we've ever done. But on like a stout, anything below a 4.15 is not great. On a New England, it's like 4.395 is probably what I'm looking for, which sounds kind of ridiculous when you think about the scale as out of 5, but that's just kind of like it's kind of where we're at.
I can tell you this, and we're not cheating. The beer we had last night, I gave it a 4.8. Steve gave it a 4.9.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
So I hope that was pretty good.
I'm sure they'll drag it up because because it's not like, because it was limited.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's not, it's each really high rating drags up that overall, which is nice.
Yeah. I like the fact that you use Untappd for research too, going back and just finding stuff in there too, because it is a great tool for that. And as a brewer, I know you guys look at it differently from your side than our side.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, like, it's at this point, like, it's hard to keep track of everybody's releases. Like, I don't know what everybody's doing anymore. It's there's so many releases, and there's so, like, even like people that I'm friendly with or I'm friends with or whatever. It's just like, I don't follow breweries on my personal account for the most part, on my personal Instagram account. So I'm not seeing what other people are doing in my whatever. I'm doing air quotes. I don't know if my box goes out that far, but in my quote unquote personal time, I'm not doing a whole lot of like seeing what releases are doing or are going. So like if I'm not on the brewery account, the brewery Instagram account or the brewery Facebook account, I'm not seeing what other breweries are doing, mostly just because like I'm trying to, if I can, get a little bit of time away from looking at beer stuff when I'm not listening to podcasts or whatever. And I run a lot of the social media anyway, so like I am very often on there. But yeah, I try not to. I just don't see releases quite as much anymore. So it is really nice to be able to like get on there, especially top rated. Obviously, click on, see what the best breweries in the world are doing. I think I leave it all the way up to world. I don't even narrow it down to the US. So sometimes it is like you see this esoteric brewery in Finland that just did like a crazy hazelnut stout with some stuff that like we can't even get in the US, and now I have to like be like, all right, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. But you just go and scroll down to the next one, see if it's a good idea or not, or whatever.
You imagine Finland. I think about some of those Scandinavian countries, and I know because I've seen and done I've seen like some of those weird, whale blubber ingredients with such and such smoked something, and I'm like,
I've seen there was something somewhat recently that like got pushed in my algorithm. I saw something weird. I was like, that's I'm glad that we have some kind of constraints here that don't allow people to do that.
Are you the one that has those constraints?
He votes for him.
There's stuff that I do. There's some things that I've said no to that I don't really like. Like I'm not a big fruit in stout person. So that's one of those ones where like you won't see a whole lot of those from us. Pepper, I'm not a big pepper and stout person. So those are the two. We've done them, but it's definitely not one of those things that we do a whole lot of. So if you see it, it means somebody won an argument, or it might be a collab that was really passionate about doing that style.
How many people are involved in these conversations besides yourself?
It's really just me and our production manager, Steve.
Okay.
He's kind of in charge of like the execution of my ideas. So like a lot of times I'll be like, all right, I want to do this. And then he'll go off and he'll be buying the ingredients and he'll do the actual dosing and everything. But speaking of the devil, it was kind of like equal parts him and I. Feel like we were just like very busy during that time. That April was a incredibly busy month for us. So we had a lot going on leading up to it. Basically from St. Patrick's Day till the end of April, we were jam-packed. So he and I both like really were like buying ingredients, dosing everything, getting it going, packaging, and then just keep going, keep doing that. With like there was for the sub raw day that we did on 4/18, we packaged 3 variants in a day just to get it. I mean, that's 45 cases. It's not a ton of cases, but it was like you got to flip the tank, you got to get the new beer in, you got to dose the new beer, and then you got to package it. So it was a long day. I think, it's just one of those things where like you're just banging out beers, trying to get them ready for releases. And we're slowing down now. We don't have any events planned for quite some time, so we don't have to worry about that as much. But now we're ramping up big production, not like small production runs for limited releases. So now's the time where whatever like I said, brewed this morning. I'm brewing on Friday, and then brewing again on Monday. So, and then I think on Memorial Day, I already have, I'm scheduled to brew on that day as well. We have 2 brewers, 2.5 brewers ish. So if somebody's out of town or somebody wants the day off, it typically falls to me. So that's why I am getting loaded right now, because not loaded with drink, loaded with production, because the guy who is the second brewer, he has a lot of days off scheduled in May. So I get the pleasure of brewing many, many beers this month.
We can't forget beers.
No.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
need you in there.
Yes, I agree.
I know you have a sense of humor, because in December, I was in Cincinnati up for the holidays visiting my family, and I'm from the west side of Cincinnati, and right down the street from where my sister and brother-in-law live, there's a Marathon gas station. It has a little tap room. I've gotten some Streetside on their taps before, and they sell Streetside, and I looked up, and I saw some Streetside, and the name alone of this one got me. It hooked me in. I bought a 4-pack of This Shit is Bananas.
Yeah.
I brought it back. I gave one to Scott. Can you describe this beer, and are you the one that was behind brewing this one?
I don't think I brewed it, but that was my name. If you look at a beer, typically it's named by me.
Yeah.
It's like 99% of the beers are named by me. Yes, that was me. That was banana pancake sour. I don't even remember the whole thing, but that was for our 800th batch of beer, I believe.
Jesus.
No, 900th, because we're coming up on, it'll be 1,000. Today's batch was actually 950. So we'll probably hit 1,000 by the end of the year. But yes, there are some of the beers are named interesting things. If you ever, people don't, but like if you ever read the description, sometimes I will sneak some interesting things in there as well.
Some Easter eggs.
You
ever put like an Easter eggs in there? Yeah.
You never know, especially if it's like if the label has to do with like a whatever popular culture. I'll try to sneak some references into the description if I can. I mean, Spring Breakers has a it's funny because our creative guy was like, this doesn't really jive with the label, but the label's very heartfelt, and like talking about how we vacation in South Carolina. Like our family, the Hickey family, goes down to South Carolina like every year. My mom's down there right now. My dad's going down on Friday. So we're talking about how like South Carolina means so much to us. And then the label is from the movie Spring Breakers, which if you've seen it, it's a pretty ridiculous movie.
Yeah.
It's not really, doesn't really jive with a heartfelt description, but here we are.
Well, going back to that beer real quick, because, it says it's packed with banana, maple, cinnamon, pancakes. And for me, it was like, I feel like I'm going into an IHOP, and this is what I've ordered. But I also felt like I was in a Willy Wonka movie. If you remember the old Willy Wonka with the gobstopper, and I was like,
oh, yeah.
This is absolutely incredible. And I mean, you guys nailed it. And to me, and I know Scott's the same way, as brewery guys, you just love that kind of experience.
Yeah. Like I say it whenever we do a beer, like if I put that it tastes like something, I want you to be able to taste it. Like I don't want you to come from that experience of drinking it and say this doesn't taste like what I like what the label says. So that's a big one for me. That's always been like a pet peeve of mine from the early days when I was back doing beer shares and all that, like when people would be like, oh, this is this and this and this, and then you taste it, and like you don't taste anything. I'd rather go overboard than underboard.
Yeah.
I know underboard isn't really the way to describe that, but whatever. We're on minute 38. I'm gonna say some words that don't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, that's okay. We got a lot to get to, and I'm gonna throw out one more at you, because Scott was with me. When we went to Streetside a few years ago, and my cousin was with me. And the other day, he had texted me something, and I said, "Hey, we got Streetside Brewery coming on." My cousin lives over in Anderson Township, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I remember when you had that." He called it the Blue Concoction. I had gotten a flight, and it was the the Blue Monday,
Blue ice cream beer. Yeah,
the ice cream beer. Let me tell you something was really funny about that. We do a big Reds outing every year. My family we do, and the next day, we had gone to the Reds game. My cousin there, Scott was there, and I had about 3 or 4 of my cousins come up to me and they said, "I heard you had like this wild blue beer last night at Streetside."
Yeah.
So it was kind of a talk. It was talk of the Reds game in my family, man.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. That actually, it was not supposed to be a full batch. It was supposed to be 4 barrels, and I did bad math, and like the ice cream that we got was in a 5-gallon bucket. They dump it into their soft serve machine. That's how they make it. My math was way off, and I dumped it into our 4-barrel tank, our 4-barrel like small release tank. Steve actually was like, "Yo, this is not right. This is way too much." And I think I may have gone out of town, maybe. I may have done it on like a Thursday and left for the weekend. It may have been a festival, may have gone out on vacation. Unlikely vacation, probably festival. But I came back and he's like, we got to not do whatever sour we were planning on doing and like put all of this together in a big tank. And he's like, I don't even know that it's going to like taste right after that. He's like, you may have just added so much that like we need to do like a 20-barrel batch as opposed to like a 15. And then we did it, and obviously it was overly blue. I thought it was a fun beer, fun concept, but I don't think we'll ever do that one again. Unfortunately, that was
that's okay. I have a picture of it on my phone though. So
yeah, I was gonna say I do too.
When we post some things about this episode, I'll have to find that one and stick it out there.
Yeah,
it was quite colorful for sure.
It was. I had quite a few people texting me about that beer, especially like festivals or whatever, because it coated glasses and just kind of looked. It was just like it was a fun idea that obviously got executed on poorly by me, and then we made it right-ish. I think I would have to like think real hard on how I wanted to do it again if I was to do it again.
How did it end up ultimately? Did you sell through all of it?
We did sell through all of it. I don't know. I didn't drink it, honestly. I have no idea. I had it once, I'm sure. Yeah, I was gonna say Steve will have to say maybe look back on your Untappd rating and see what you gave it, because it's not one of those ones that I expected a whole lot of. I think it's probably
true confession. I did look. I rated it a 3.50.
There you go. Yeah. That's about right. If you look at if you look at the overall, I think that's probably about.
And I don't know. You asked because I don't normally will say that to her. But by the way, I mean, I don't. It was all right, but you know what? Again,
it was a lot.
It's what we said. It makes the outings fun. I mean, it became a conversation of cousins at a Reds game, for God's sake. So
yeah,
you know.
Yeah. You'll take the 3.5, won't you? You're like, I'll take the 3.5 and move on.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially on that one. It is what again. It was. I knew it was gonna be hit or miss when we did it, and then after everything, it was even more hit or miss. So I'm glad. It's one of those ones. Some of these beers that we do, I'm just like, all right, I'm ready for this to be out in the world and out of my tanks. We've had a couple of those where I'm just like, who knows what people are going to think of this beer. I'm just happy that I don't have to deal with it anymore.
when you get it out of the
beer
back,
go with God.
When you get it out of the back of the house and you get it gone, you're like, okay, it's your problem now, kind of thing, or it's the world.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially if it's something that somebody else wanted to do, and I'm just like, all right, well, this was your thing, and I made it the best I could, and hopefully it sells. So that was that was a 100% me thing. That was after talking with RAR. Their brewer was like, you guys could do this pretty easy. And I was like, all right, I'll try it, and it just didn't go over well. I don't know. Maybe I'll now that we're talking about, maybe I'll try it again this summer or something.
Well, you learn from mistakes
with a little bit more restraint.
Yeah,
with a little bit more restraint, a little bit more. Just restraint. Really, that's all I need to do. And we've changed our sour base too, which I think would help a lot. I think it also like dial back the sourness. Use one of the like a lacto blend that doesn't produce quite so much not phosphoric acid. Excuse me, lactic acid.
Hey, you got my support. You do it again, we'll bring you back on.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
Totally. And I love that you mentioned RAR, because we've had some of those beers. We've had a lot of those beers, and man, you want to talk about colorful. We did an episode.
Yeah.
And we had flights of it, and 3 of the 4 that Steve had were white.
Yes.
He had 3 whites and a blue.
They love their ice cream. Oh, that's that. He's helped me along with that one. We just don't do it a whole lot. That style beer doesn't really sell well for us. We are going to do a smoothie sour release in July 18th, I think is what we're going to do. We used to do a series called Too Cool that I think we did like 4 or 5 variants of, and then I just kind of it was just like, they sold well, but it just it became too much. At some point you got to kind of pare down the things that you're doing, especially when you're doing, you've got all the other sours that have to be released. So I just was like, yeah, this is too much. We can't do it. So we're going to bring them back. We're going to do a little festival or anything, but just a release day, like we do a Sub Raw Day or Return the Mac Day or whatever. We'll see how people respond to it. It'll be nice to gauge people's interest in something that we haven't done in quite some time.